Hi, my name is Mark Solomon, and I'm one of the developers.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Amo here, and I'm the product owner.
Hi, I'm Shrishti. I'm the Scrum Master.
Hi, I'm Shimavi, and I'm the developer.
And we are the mobile budgeting app team.
The main goal of the app is to track the user's expense and the user's income to help the user track their money. And what makes our app special is that it shows the user helpful info according to the user's personal info that he or she provided. So the technologies are React Native, which uses JavaScript, and Firebase, which uses the new NoSQL.
So, for the Sprint 1 goal, in terms of development, we had in mind to implement the basic features such as homepage, profile page, transaction log page, which included basically helps the user to add their transactions manually, and the goals page where the user can set their goals that they want to achieve in terms of saving money. So we wanted to have those features implemented along with navigation. That so that the user can scroll through pages. In terms of backend, we wanted the Firebase setup for user authentication and database for adding, deleting, and retrieving data. And last but not the least, we wanted to implement the data visualizations on the homepage. Basic features such as that helps the user to track their income, expenditure, profit, loss, etc. for the app.
That meant that all the acceptance tests had been written for all the user stories, and the code for that specific user story had also been written. The code was also being built with no errors, and all the unit tests had been written and had passed. And all the remaining work for that user story had been set to 0.
So this is our app, and I've implemented the sign up and login. So let's test it out. So this is the sign up. It asks me to enter email, which has not been entered before. So I will do a test. I'll write test123@gmail.com. So I have to enter a confirm password. So I do that. So here we are in the home page. I have implemented the profile page. So it has the email I've entered logging in is popping up in my email section, asking me my details, the questionnaire. Are you a student? I'm a student. And what is your transport means? So I choose bus, and we enter that. And let's try and log out. Log out is in the profile page as well. Now let's try logging back in. Same email and password. Test123@gmail.com. Password logs me in. Yes, it does. So it works.
File page, this is how you get to it. And then you can just return to the home page. This is what our news page looks like. Some articles there, and some advice, grocery deals, entertainment deals, and more. Great, so I'll show you how to make a transaction. You start on the log page, and there's a big brown button that says new transaction. We'll press that. And you have to enter a date for when this transaction was. You can do any date in the past, present, or future. I'll just do today. And then you name your transaction. I got a Rockstar drink today, so I'm just gonna write to that. There's no limitation, you just have to have more than 0 characters. And then you have to press a selection type. It's either expenditure or income. So this was expenditure. And you write your transaction amount. This was $3.50. And then next you select the transaction category. We have a few options to choose from. There's food, transport, health, utilities, housing, entertainment, work, schooling, or miscellaneous. I'll select food. And then lastly, you associate this transaction to a goal. If you have any goals, they'll appear here. Otherwise, you can just press no association. Finally, you press save. If you entered everything right, you'll get a pop-up that says transaction saved. You press OK, and you can see your transaction and other transactions just right here. And if you wanted to delete it, you would press this bin button. Cool. And then we'll go over to goals. and it looks the exact same as the transaction log page. So we'll do the same to create a new one. New goal, write the goal name. I'll say that I'm saving up for a car. And once again, this entry field just has to be more than 0 characters. And then saving amount, this has to be numeric. I'll just do a 1K car, very cheap car. And then a completed by date, this has to be in the future. So I'll say maybe at the end of this year, I want to have met this goal. And once again, we press save. If everything's been filled out correctly, you get an alert, goal saved. And there it appears, it shows the deadline, the name, and how you're going with meeting your target. And again, you can just delete. We had a 34-day sprint that included the mid-semester break. Our burn down chart was actually completely horizontal until day 29 out of 34. This is because during the break we had team members away and sick and working, so a lot of testing wasn't being able to be completed even though development had. And then in the final 5 days of the sprint, we all got together long hours at the library. There was a lot of development and a lot of testing in this time, and this was actually shown on the graph as a similar gradient between the ideal burn down chart and our actual burn down.
So there are certain things that we weren't able to implement in our app, mostly because it took a lot of time upskilling towards that. One of the things were having our log. So we are able to add on to it and delete as a customer, but we are unable to edit anything that we've already put in there, which is an inconvenience to our customer. One of the biggest things is the widgets. So we planned that from our logs, the expenditure, the income, and where the spending is going will be shown on a chart. These charts were monthly, weekly, and we weren't able to implement it. We were just able to hard code it a little bit. Needed to work on maps. And the problem with the maps was initially we needed to search and understand it so much that it took a long time. I have a map ready, but we are unable to connect to the login yet, and that's been a thing that we need to work on.
We did a really great job estimating the story points. We didn't estimate properly was for a navigation ticket, which the developer had to transition between pages, and they had to learn about stack navigation, stacking, and the navigation bar in itself. It could have been a really lot higher than what it was given, like 21 or 33. And another one which was not estimated properly was the profile page. Just that it took adding and editing of the user's data, which was a little bit hard to figure out, and its story point is 13, which is, it could have been a 55, is what we think.
And React Native and Java JavaScript have have different syntax than other programming languages that we used before. The JavaScript has a map function and the spread operator that were necessary to use in our app development. In React Native, we needed to learn about hooks and how to use these hooks. Hooks like use states and use effect. This took time to learn and to understand, and even took more time to use these new concepts in our app. None of us used NoSQL before, thus no one of us used Firebase before. And learning how to use NoSQL and Firebase and how to connect Firebase to our app proved to be challenging.
We're going to learn to manage our time better. We were really productive towards the end of Sprint 1 and we worked really well as a team, so we want to implement that kind of learning and developing throughout the whole of Sprint 2. We want to really prioritize upskilling before doing tasks rather than in the middle of them, and we really want to get better at communicating any struggles or any blockers that we have. We also really want to better prioritize how we do user stories. We want to do harder ones first, and we also want to make sure that we're studying and upskilling in the right things.
Thank you for watching our Sprint 1 mobile app review. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.